Hey there, YouTube world. My name is Matt Schwartz, and I am the Welding Geek. And we're back at it with metal. If you want to see how I went about making the Book of Boba Fett armor out of aluminum, stay tuned in the video. Alright, we're going to start with our templates here. These will be available over at my Patreon page. So if you want to give these an attempt out of some Sintra or something, these would work perfectly for that. I'm using some spray adhesive, just gluing my templates down to some 063 3003 aluminum. Or actually it might be 080. 080, I think that's what I used. And then I'm going to take it over to my shear here and just shear out the flats that I can get access to. And also just kind of blank out the pieces so it'll be easier for me when I cut them out on the bandsaw. Now that I have my pieces blanked out, I'm going to come over here and use my little crosshatch marks in each of these pieces and center mark the holes where I need to put holes for either the mounting holes or just the inner radiuses that I put in on the templates. And then I'm going to use this rotary index punch here and punch out all the different size holes in the aluminum. I'm also going to use this rotary index punch here to notch out the little slots in the chest for the LED ticker that's in the chest here. And I'm just going to go through and hit like a half a hole and nibble it out. And then I'll go in later and file these out so it's nice and clean and smooth. Now I'm going to use the bandsaw here and cut out the final profiles of each individual piece. After using the bandsaw, the edges are usually semi-rough, not crazy rough, but I always like to go through and hit it with the angle head grinder to smooth out any imperfections and to kind of deburr the plates so I don't cut my fingers. So the new shoulder bells have this accent line on the edge, so I made a little template that I could cleco down onto my material here. And I'm just going to score in this line with an angle head cutoff wheel. Now before I start shaping out my plates here, I'm going to file out these little squares where the little shoulder collar square pieces go. I don't know what they're called. So I filed those out slightly. Now I'm moving on to the slip roll here. I'm going to put the simple rolls in the pieces, and then I'll take it over to the planishing hammer and we'll get the complex curves in like that. The collar doesn't take any complex curves, so I just kind of rolled the edges there, and now I'm going to put some slight curves in each of these panels just to give it a head start to where the planishing will take it later. Now I'm going to go ahead and use my planishing hammer here with a bunch of different dies, and I'm going to put a crown in these panels to give it that shape that it has. Just a slight curve, but it makes a big difference in the way that it looks to planish these. And you'll see the difference here when I hold it up to the camera here. You can see kind of how it's domed. Instead of just curving in the one direction, it now curves in all directions. So that's pretty cool. Just as a side note, the planishing actually adds a lot of rigidity to these panels, so it also makes it nice for the armor, so it's not as flexible, it's a little stronger, makes it look a little tougher. Now I'm going to go into these slots that I nibbled out earlier, and I'm going to file them straight. Now that I have those cleaned up, I'm going to go ahead and file and fit my little collar square pieces. I don't know what these are called. I should probably learn that, huh? But I'm going to go ahead and file and fit each one nice and tight so it looks good. And then I'm going to go in on the back side and tack them into place once they're all fit. So they changed up the chest diamond to be super complex. Always got to make it harder on us costume makers, don't they? So I made this little tool here. I'm going to take it over to our hydraulic press and press out the chest diamond to get the little ridge on the edge feature. And this worked out pretty well. I'm really happy with how this chest diamond came out. Now I'll go ahead and get it cut out on the bandsaw and sand up the edges, and it'll be looking really, really nice. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and cut out some foam and foam back my armor. And I do this just to give it a little more thickness, a little more depth. And you don't really notice when you go paint it. So you get the strength and coolness of metal armor and also a lot less weight, and yet it still looks really thick. So I really like doing this with the armor. It just gives it that much more depth. Now that I have a majority of the excess foam trimmed off, I'll go around the edges with the angle head and really clean these up so it's nice and smooth all the way around the edges. Alright, we got our last step here. This is called a PEM stud. And these are a press fit stud, and this makes it super easy to mount my armor. So I'm going to go ahead and press fit all these, and then I'll dress over the top just to make them a little smoother so they don't show up when I paint. And that will be the last step of the armor build. Alright, that is the Book of Boba Fett chest plate video. Let's get some close-ups. Got our abdomen plate here. I found this really cool foam to back it with that has this cool pattern on it. Pretty simple armor. I have these templates. They'll be available over at my Patreon account. I'll link that in the description. This one was easy compared to the actual Boba Fett armor from The Mandalorian Season 2 and his The Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back armor, because there's no dents. The only dents in his helmet. So having nice smooth armor made it a lot easier. Got the collar, I got those inset there. I am very happy with how this set of armor came out. Got our little lines in here. They had to add all sorts of stuff to try to make it hard for me to make. That's okay. Alright, what we have coming up next. Boom! The back plate. I am thrilled with how this came out. When I first saw this, I was like, oh no. But I made a pretty cool tool that you'll see. And when I make this this build video, that made this actually not too bad to build. It's not perfect, but it's made out of metal. And there's nobody else that can say that, except me. At least Book of Boba Fett wise, at least at this point. So that will be the next video up on the docket. I'll eventually start to make the knees. I've got some of my soft parts coming from the Fett Armory, which I'm really looking forward to. I know I've been saying that in all these videos, but that'll be a video all on its own. And then I'll have to paint this stuff up. I got to repaint my helmet to make it match. So that's the kind of videos that will be coming on the channel here in the near future. I'm really kicking around this idea, and I think I'm going to go after it. There's just some things I got to try to line up before I go after this next build. I'm not going to say anything yet, just in case I can't get all my ducks in a row. But I'm really excited about it. It's going to be a personal project, something I really... yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun, I think. I hope, if I can pull it off. So yeah, we got some cool stuff coming up. If you want to support my channel, gotta do the whole spiel. I do have a Patreon account with the templates available there, and a bunch of other templates available for making cool cosplay, Star Wars cosplay, and some other odds and ends over there. So that's where all my templates are at, and that's a $5 tier. $5 gets you access to all my templates. So that's just one way I've been kind of supplementing on my builds, because stuff's not cheap, and time, a lot of time too. So it's just a way to keep me going, building cool stuff. You can subscribe to my channel. I know everybody on YouTube's subscribe, like, share, do all that stuff. Same here. If you'd be willing to do that for me, it'd be a huge help in the algorithm and get my channel just moving forward. We're moving forward. We just hit 19,000 subs, which is amazing. I never thought I'd be there, so that's awesome all on its own. Aiming for 20 and on up. I'm thrilled that there's been a lot of action going on my channel, so it means a lot. So yeah, cool stuff coming up. I hope you're looking forward to it. I know I'm looking forward to building it. So my name is Matt Schwartz. I'm the Welding Geek. Thanks for watching.